What's up, guys? So this week the video is going to be a little bit differently. Just going to be me sitting down, having a conversation, kind of a one-take thing, in honor of number one, me not having a video ready this week, and number two, uh, November 11th, so 4 days ago, was 2 years sober for me. So yeah, before then, I would definitely smoke a bunch of weed, nicotine, vapes, roll spliffs all the time, and also drink a fair amount. And I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk about like my experience in staying super involved in the board sports community, what sobriety's like been, or what it's been like in my life, and yeah, just sit down and have a conversation. In my head, I've definitely built this video up to be something big that needs to be like perfectly polished, but that is not the case today. I don't have anything written down, no specific points that I want to go over or anything like that, just stream of consciousness and my kind of thoughts on the matter. So yeah, since getting sober, number one, I'd say the kind of biggest thing that always, when I reflect back on it, makes it a positive is the money I've saved. I was definitely smoking like around a gram of weed a day for many years, plus tobacco and however many beers. And being on the East Coast, that adds up to like at least a few grand a year. I'd say at least three. I've done the math before. And as someone who doesn't have a bunch of disposable income, that money is definitely always well appreciated. I went to Europe and I didn't. Me and Jake went for 3 weeks and we were super lucky and fortunate. And we had people help us out with places to stay and things like that. But I don't think the trip cost me any more than 3 grand. So I mean, that's pretty worth it right there. The other thing is kind of that sticks out. Even though I wasn't always bummed on the fact that I was like smoking weed or drinking, when I was, it was definitely like always kind of like a just a kind of deep hole to have to like claw myself out of each time. And I usually do it through like getting sober for a few months, like taking my mental health more seriously and just digging into some issues and trauma that like I've kind of just been pushing to the side. And that was always great and it worked well. And then start smoking, drinking again, and just kind of like repeating that cycle. Um, and yeah, the last time I did it, I just went in it with like, I don't know, a bit more seriousness towards the matter, I guess. And then the other thing that I did differently this time compared to all the others was I substantially changed my environment and surroundings. I moved back home. I barely rode boards at all. I'd go to the skate park every now and then. In the first 6 months, I did like one snowboard trip to Salt Lake City, but that was really it. I big time kind of changed up my daily environment. I wasn't really around any of the same people, and that wasn't a crazy thing for me. I'm someone who moves and bounces around pretty regularly. But yeah, just being at home, having different surroundings, and yeah, I was in class. I was getting my EMT at the local community college. I was working pretty close to full time, like for also being enrolled in the EMT class, and then yeah, and then just going to the gym a lot, exercising a ton, and also just reading, journaling every single day, and just kind of working through all my own stuff. And definitely in the moment when I was doing all of that, it did not feel like I was killing it mentally. But looking back, I was definitely kind of doing all the things that I had to do to stay sane. And for me, like just smoking weed wasn't necessarily the thing that was keeping me sane, but definitely boarding was playing a huge kind of role in that. And they'd been intertwined for me for so long. Like if you're smoking weed every day and boarding every day, they're, I don't know, to me it just kind of became one and the same. It was somewhat hard to separate the two, and especially the kind of like release that I got from doing both in conjunction. Um, so yeah, kind of just stopping both was obviously super difficult, right? You don't have that kind of go-to coping mechanism that I've come to rely on over the past basically my entire adult life. Um, so yeah, that was difficult, and I needed something to kind of like fill that void. So for me, that was exercise, journaling. I started reading some self-help books, just things on psychiatry and mental health. I also got like kind of a local like mentor who helped kind of like guide me through the process, someone who'd been sober himself for a very long time, and I would meet with him pretty regularly along with like a more traditional therapy and counseling that I was in. And all those things really helped me just like get to know myself better, be more comfortable in my own skin. And it also, as someone who lives kind of a more fringe lifestyle, I move around all the time. As long as I'm boarding and can have fun doing that, a lot of the other things and kind of security blankets don't matter to me as much. But, just understanding that like I would be okay and I couldn't find happiness, or I could find happiness in a more kind of nuclear traditional environment of just like going outside, running every day, journaling at night, reading books, getting to know people in my community and people that were already around me. It really helped. I don't know, just like instill this new confidence in me that I didn't necessarily have to live like a crazy lifestyle, and that there was serenity to be found kind of any and everywhere. I remember like really, really enjoying my bike rides around the lake and just like coming around the lake when it'd just be like crystal, like super calm water or like a beautiful sunset. And then I remember during that snowboard trip to Salt Lake City, hiking up a mountain. And again, it was the first time I'd ridden any kind of board in a relatively, long time, like months. That's a super long time for me. And just turning around, getting that like great physical exercise of hiking up a mountain and then having just like a magnificent view on the other side of whenever I turned around. And it was that same feeling that I got when I would ride around the lake, see that crystal clear water. And, but it was exemplified, obviously. I mean, I'm seeing a lot more. It's an environment that I don't see every day. And it was just a really like kind of deep and spiritual experience for me. And then I got to turn around and make turns down the field that I just walked up. And it was a pretty steep face. Like it was really fun. And I just loved it. And during that experience, I kind of realized that while I can find happiness and serenity in a more like traditional routine-based lifestyle, that's just not what really makes me feel alive like today and right now in my life. Just being like in my 20s and super passionate about riding boards and being invested in several different kind of board sport communities. So I decided to, whenever the EMT class was done, like make a switch, try to integrate myself back into these board sports communities that I've been a part of and that have kind of given me so much in both direction, connection, and just good times and good memories with people that I hope I'll be friends with for the rest of my life. So after about 6 to 8 months of being sober, somewhere in there, I kind of went back, started like wakeboarding a bunch and kiting, snowboarding, doing like all those other things. And obviously I was around a lot of the same people that I used to like smoke weed with all the time or get drunk with occasionally. And yeah, that was definitely difficult, but I was pretty upfront about what I was looking for, or I guess where I was trying to head, like in life and the path that I was currently on. And most of the people in my life respected that. And two, it's nice, at least in the circles that I run in, not too many people like take offense that I was trying to like get sober or do things to make my life better. And there was always at least like one or two people in each kind of friend group or circle who thought that it was really cool. So if I was ever in a situation where somebody was drunk, just like, come on, like have a drink, like, and I just said, no, I'm good. Usually by the second or third time I said, no, I'm good, like one of my other friends would kind of step up and be like, dude, you're being a dick, like shut the fuck up, like he's not going to take a drink, like just go away. And that was nice. I never felt the need that I had to do anything like that myself or get like weird with any friends or anything, because if I ever was put in that situation, usually one of my other friends would step up and do that. So yeah, I mean, and then just riding the board again, and I guess getting back to that, I was able to just kind of fall back into the same like lifestyle and routine and just like abstain from the drinking and the smoking, still like hang out with people like about the same amount. And yeah, like really just enjoy it. The main difference is I would just go to bed at midnight instead of 3 a.m. and wake up with a little more spunk than anyone else in the group. But yeah, I mean, it's proved to just be a really positive decision. By no means has it cured all my ailments. I definitely rely on other coping mechanisms and things that I would like to try to do less and less of, and things that I'm continually working on that kind of distract me the same way that smoking and drinking did. Um, Whether it's mindlessly eating, watching TV shows or movies that really don't have any substance that I'm just putting on to kind of numb something. I still struggle with all of that. I don't journal, and I'm not as disciplined as those first 6 months whenever I did get sober, but I do still journal, and I definitely find that I can catch myself much quicker in a downward spiral. I don't have to allow myself to kind of hit that hard bottom that's super difficult to climb out of. I can catch it a little bit earlier, and even though I don't turn around with the same intensity as far as like completely changing my life and being more routine driven, I can still like take little steps towards making whatever the issue or whatever I'm repressing better, and just like starting to deal with it, starting to tackle it. And overall, it's just been a very positive decision in my life that I just wanted to sit down and share with anyone who cared enough to listen. And also, the main motivation of this was I didn't have a video ready for this week. And then I was thinking, like, oh, well, I'll just sit down, talk, make a quick video. What should I sit down and talk about? And given that I just hit 2 years, this seemed like the topic for this week. Hopefully, there is another more kind of well thought out video where I have some things written down, some experiences I've maybe gone through, and some things I've like learned through the experience. But for now, these are just the first thoughts that come to my mind. If you did sit down and listen to or watch this whole thing, right on. I appreciate your interest in my journey. If you want to talk to me, feel free to reach out via YouTube, Instagram, shoot me a text, whatever. But yeah, thanks for joining along, guys, and we'll see you next week with hopefully something a little more fun. All right, see ya.